Hi Scorpio, welcome to your November 2021 general tarot reading. It's Raina here. So I'm just starting over again. I just kind of was bumbling around and I want to wish all of you a happy birthday. And I also want to let you know that if you're interested in astrology and astrology forecasts for your sign, I have it up on my channel, so you can check that out. I have a playlist for all of the November astrology videos. There's something else. Well, the only couple things I will mention is that there is a new moon in your sign on November 4th at 12 degrees of Scorpio. And there's also, well, it's a lunar eclipse. I was going to say full moon, but lunar eclipse in your opposite sign of Taurus on the 19th of the month at 27 degrees of Taurus. And that could be specifically affecting relationships. So the heart of the matter is the Fool card, and the Fool is the official first card of the major arcana, the zero, or you could say the 0 point, that ultimate beginning of creative potential. And of course, that can correspond with any new moon. You see that, I don't know if that's considered the sacred geometry or something, that flower. It's beautiful illustration. I don't know the name of this deck. I don't have it. I don't have the box anymore, so in case you were interested. But anyway, this is about breaking free from convention and doing things your own way. Definitely speaks to new beginnings. And even if you aren't sure whether new moons and full moons carry any kind of actual, weight in terms of being able to manifest things, even symbolically, if you were to do something at this time, at the new moon, to envision what you would like to bring into your reality in the next 12 months, I mean, one of the whole ideas of the idea of conscious co-creation is the belief that you can even do these things. Because yes, of course, we're encouraged to accomplish things, but we're really given this small kind of group of choices. I'm thinking about when we're being pushed by the outside world to do certain things. It's really based on somebody else's ideas of what is acceptable to pursue and things like that. And it's such a narrow thing. People create their own businesses, their own brands, their own products. People who create inventions, and I'm not just talking about, the telephone, but Spanx. I was reading about the woman who invented Spanx. I mean, all of these things come from, originate from a thought. And that is how you create worlds, really. So with the Fool card, but it's also, to me, it's connected to Uranus. So it's really about this idea of not having these constraints put on you by what has been termed consensus reality, what everyone agrees is real. And when you decide, I don't need somebody else's approval to live my life in a certain way, that could be what this is. And some of you may be going through major changes. Definitely in 2022, Scorpios will probably feel a great push to, or just even events happening that create great change in your life. And you can decide whether or not you're going to go with it or you're going to fight it. But if you go with it, it may take you into places you never expected. And it can be very exhilarating. You never know what kind of things will come up out of this. In the past position, we have the Four of Pentacles in the reversed position. This can be some kind of imbalance when it comes to your relationship with money in some way. So if you have, I was going to joke and say, if you're Sun in Scorpio and you have Venus in Sagittarius or Venus in Libra, these are the two adjacent signs to you that you could have Venus as well. And Scorpio as a sign tends to be very good about managing money, but with a Venus in that sign, and Venus can be your attitude towards money, it can create a little bit of a problem in the sense that you may have free spending habits when it comes to wanting luxury items or things like that. Things that, or just even just having the freedom, I think especially with Venus and Sagittarius, just the freedom to be able to spend money without having to think about it. Could simply be how it is, but it can end up be a situation where you feel like you are squandering your money. And maybe this is even in connection to, well, it looks, I was going to say a personal relationship. If you have been, funding somebody else and it hasn't been good for you personally, but I'm looking at the higher message and it almost seems more like it's related to your work. The higher message is the Five of Wands. This can be a card of competition. Now, sometimes this competition can be energizing and can, bring about your A game where you're around other people who are striving for excellence. And so it's actually something positive where you're surrounded by, top-notch people. But sometimes it can be that dog-eat-dog mentality. And this is the spiritual message. So with the Four of Pentacles in the challenge position, it might be that greed has gotten the best of you. And when I say greed, I just simply mean that you're placing undue importance on money. And that is creating this sense of maybe feeling oppressed in your life with, because usually this will involve either feeling like you're selling your soul. So like, for instance, working in a corporation and having to abide by some rules that just don't fit. Scorpio to me is a really funny sign because I feel like a lot of you are actually quite rebellious and you don't fit a mold. Because you have those rulers of Pluto and Mars, and both of those are fierce influences, and they can make a person Mars can make somebody very confident, and I really believe that a lot of Scorpios are confident. Even when they do insecure things, I still believe there's this tough quality within most of you that is not wishy-washy or insecure in the classic sense. Not to say that you may not doubt yourself at times, but I just feel that there's a real strength with Scorpio. And the real key, though, is not getting caught up in controlling others. If you can stay in your own lane, tend to your own garden, you're going to be great. Definitely, Scorpio wants to have that kind of power over situations, and that can be detrimental too. With the Five of Wands, you may even get addicted to that kind of an environment, even if it's toxic, because you feel like you're exercising a part of yourself. I was going to even say exorcising a part of yourself. It's kind of like a pun in a sense, but it can ultimately be very toxic and against and anti-spiritual because it's coming from a place of scarcity. With the Five of Wands, there can be this idea of there's only one person that can succeed and everybody else is just at the bottom compared to that one person. And it's kind of like diluted, mixed up, not having one's priorities in order. And that's kind of what I see with the Four of Pentacles as well, is this, putting undue importance on money and then feeling this sense of like either stress or, Like you can't trust the people that you work with because you feel like they're always going to try to kind of like get one over on you behind the scenes or something like that. What crosses you, oh, this is another money card, Six of Pentacles. So that's a pretty card too. So you see that there are two hands. These are different hands in the mix here. The Six of Pentacles is about give and take. So that's why one person is giving and one person's taking. But sometimes, you know, when we talk about give and take, there's more taking than giving. There's more where one person is kind of having to be the one who does things, I don't know how I would put it, like, who always has to be one person has to be the bigger person, and it's not a good situation. So one of the ways this can show up is that, like, let's say you are helping your family out. Maybe it's one family member. Maybe you're the one in the family who has made it, so to speak. And so everybody's calling you to try to, you know, get helped out. And usually Scorpios are very close to family, even when they will admit behind the scenes that they don't like certain people, they still can be quite loyal to family. And so you may feel that it's your obligation to do it. But what I would say, if that is something that you've been dealing with, is that it, you know, whenever there's that kind of uneven energy exchange where one person's doing all the giving and one person's doing all the taking, that can be a very toxic relationship. Because the truth is that I don't believe that in all relationships that if one person's always like paying to go out to dinner or whatever, that's a bad thing. As long as the other person isn't just using that individual and they really sincerely, because they can't afford it and the other person can, and that's why they do it like that. But the other person is very thoughtful and they try to kind of, it's not even making it up, they just want to give. And that's when it makes it better. It's not about tit for tat. And it's hard to explain sometimes because we tend to think in black and white. So look at your relationships. Is there a relationship that you have with somebody where it is an uneven energy exchange? And this can also apply to the job and in the work front. Because that was one of the things I was going to say, is that maybe with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, you aren't getting paid what you're worth, or you're not making enough money for some reason, but you're still having to jump through hoops. So, also the Six of Pentacles can be an inheritance card. So there could be some kind of an issue with inheritance for some reason. I feel like if there is, that it might be in late December, that at the full moon in Gemini, that this is resolved, because this is going to fall in the 8th house, and that's the house of other people's money, which you just happen to rule. So it could be something along those lines. If you've been having, people fighting over it with the Five of Wands, and it's kind of taking its toll. So, what's coming in is the Chariot card, and this is really about gaining control over your situation. The horses of duality, black and white, representing the polarities. And basically, this is about being able to, you see the man is perched in between those horses from where he's squatting, and that's a sign of not being imbalanced in some of these things, so that you're able to triumph over your situation in a way that you may even be surprised. Like, how did I do that? I was getting it from all ends. That didn't sound right. And but I was able to kind of like keep keep a steady course. And, you know, eventually, because I was really one-pointed, I wasn't scattered in my forces, I was able to succeed at whatever the situation is. And the outcome is the Five of Cups. So I did pick an additional card, and I'm actually going to pick another card as well for clarification, because I did have to start this reading over again. So the Five of Cups is a card of having a sense of mourning. Now, how this can play out. Now, isn't it interesting? We have 2 5s here. This is a 5 universal year. The number 5 can be a number of change. Now, sometimes, depending on, like, for instance, the 5 of Pentacles can be like a change of fortune. You know, you can have somebody who loses their job. But really, change can indicate instability. And the 5 of Cups can mean that you have to deal with something that may have happened that you didn't want to happen. It doesn't have to be, you know, in terms of grief, like somebody dying. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. It can simply be not getting a promotion that you wanted, but feeling that you still won because of the Chariot. There's something, you know, sometimes you have to do something that you don't want to do for a higher purpose. And sometimes it can be your peace of mind that that's the higher reason. And so I did pick an additional card, and it was the 10 of Cups in the challenge position. This can mean, I'll just show it because you can't really see it. And you can see the family angle to this. This is like the happily ever after card. This is the marriage card. And in the challenge position, this is a very positive card. So it can simply mean delayed happiness, or something that is coming in between you and your happiness. And, you know, that can be anything. That can be like another person or what have you. It could be so many different things. So I'm going to pick an additional card just for clarification. Okay, so the upright position, we have the 4 of Cups. This is one of those cards that it might be more positive in the reversed position. That was how I drew it. So it can, to me, it can mean like lifting of your spirits, because this can be kind of a malaise or a depressed state. And in the reversed position, you could be finding that your mood is improving, that maybe you have more zest for life now, and if you have let go of something. So I guess what I would say about the 5 of Cups is, if you feel like you have to leave your job because it just is too stressful, or, you know, it's competitive but it's not financially competitive, or maybe you got sucked into the money, you have to mourn that loss, because you may have liked certain aspects of it. Just because there's certain things that you don't like about it doesn't mean that you didn't like everything about it. So being able to kind of process that loss can lead to a feeling of lightness, that things are getting better, that you're on the you're kind of on the upswing, and that can feel really good. So I certainly hope that happens for you. And when we have planets in Sag, and I think they're already, might even be right now, Venus might be in Sag as I record this, that's your second house, Scorpio, and that can indicate increase in money, you know, attracting money to you. So anyway, I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I do a lot of astrology readings, and I have specials for double readings, which are simply, you know, extended readings. You can check the link below for more information. Take care.